Mark, you've been, what, 3 days in that same spot?
3 days, stuck in a hallway. And by stuck in a hallway, I mean directly engaged with conference participants, talking about social learning.
How'd it go? What do you think?
You know what? There were people there at the end. So I'm going to count that as a win. We had people there. You know, it was busy. I mean, I was there a lot, and there were always people to talk to, and so I'm going to count it as a win. I would have been really exhausted if there had been nobody there, nobody asking questions, nobody engaged with the content. That would have destroyed me. But there were people there constantly, people constantly coming up with new questions or new ideas, and we actually had a really good instant kind of success story win. So that kind of I kind of feed off that energy. So it was good.
What was the official title of your?
It was a social learning camp. Right, and so there were zones. There was a serious game zone, and there was a mobile learning jam. So I kind of felt pressure to come up with a different kind of. I mean, I thought camp was kind of non-threatening, and we could do macaroni art together and maybe go for a canoe across the lake. But so I wanted something that kind of was non-threatening to people in kind of a participation way.
To kind of get past your title.
Camp counselor.
Who you work for.
Oh, sure. So
can make people comfortable with the fact that if I tell you this, I'm going to have to kill you.
Well, so no, we invade you.
All right.
Yeah, I work for the United States Department of Defense, for Defense Acquisition University. We're a corporate university within DoD. We teach people acquisition, how to buy things. So aircraft carriers to toilet paper.
Hammers.
So, hammers. You know what? Don't get me started on a $600 hammer. It was a mil-spec hammer. You could have dropped it out of an aircraft. It would have been fine. So it was worth the $600. But yeah, that's what we teach people, is how to acquire things. And so we have a student population anywhere from 150,000 on a really conservative estimate to, if we add in contractors, about 2 to 3 million people a year can be our student base. And my role there is to kind of look at social media, especially as it relates to learning and virtual worlds, and how we can use those to increase our reach to our students. That means greater throughput. It means getting to them in different ways other than courses and modules. It means getting to them at the time of performance and the time of need, that sort of thing.
So what kind of challenges do you face?
You know, I mean, that's funny. The challenges are basically, one of the things that came out in the 3 days is the challenges are basically the same that everybody has, right? I boil it down to 3 things. It's fear, control, and trust. Those are the challenges. People are afraid of it. They don't want to lose control, and these kinds of technologies, wikis, blogs, Twitter, Yammer, all these kinds of microblogging platforms too, bring up issues of, do you really trust your employees to be out there saying things, and are you afraid of what they might say? And so those are the same kind of challenges we see everywhere. What's interesting is, unlike with LMSs, when LMSs were coming out, say, the challenges aren't, will it integrate with our other IT systems? Because a lot of these systems are made to integrate from the ground up. And it's not cost, because an awful lot of them are really inexpensive. In fact, their inexpensiveness is part of a problem, in that when you say, I've got an enterprise-grade product that can change the way we do business, and by the way, we can deploy it inside a month for under $50K, you get a look like, well, it can't really do that, right? So I've told somebody, it'd be nicer if your product cost me $1.2 million, because then I could actually get some traction. People would actually believe it was worth something, right? So the challenges are emotional. They're fear, control, and trust. They're not technical. They're not financial. So I think we have to address them differently, right? We have to actually address them like, we have to talk to people like they're humans, and not just give them here's the IT brief, why it won't violate security, here's the brief, why it will integrate. We have to address what their real issues are.
So I take it some of these things are working, you're doing them.
Oh yeah, we're definitely pushing them at work. One of the tools that we've done at work is Yammer, Yammer is an enterprise version of Twitter, which is a kind of microblogging platform, and introduced it with absolutely no fanfare. Just kind of dropped it in the enterprise. Told some people it was there. After a few weeks, kind of did an introductory video using another free tool to do the video. And now, out of a faculty of about 500 to 550, I've got about 160 of them signed up, actually using it. I think the program should be pretty bulletproof if I get to about 200. And they're already doing emergent behavior on it. So where I used to be the sole person to welcome people into Yammer, other people are taking that role on now. Other people are helping people get used to the network. So it's really nice to see that emergent behavior come out of this. And Yammer was a big one. We had an instant success story at this conference. I talked about Yammer. One of the guys calls the president of his company. They make wind turbines. and they get paid when the turbines are operational, not when they're broken. So time to repair is a big metric for them. So I was talking about Yammer, and he started thinking about, wow, there's a mobile interface, there's a web interface. All the repair guys who fix these things all around the globe could be in contact with each other. And so he called his president and told him about it. The president said, how much does it cost? He said, I don't know. By the time he calls him back this morning, the president's researched it, found out how much it cost, gotten a purchase order created, sent it to the financial officer who signed off on it, and by the time this guy gets home from the conference, they'll have implemented Yammer, and they're estimating the cost savings at $3 to $5 million a year.
Wow.
So you want ROI? You want a case study? There you go.
Yeah.
During the conference.
The conference isn't even...
I know, we're not even done yet, right? So yeah, it's pretty amazing.
That's
I'm pretty
fun.
excited about that.
What are people sharing with you that's exciting?
Well, I mean, I think one of the things that's really exciting is people's willingness to address these tools, right? And so one of the kind of drums that I continually beat on is that these tools are not culturally neutral. That when you introduce them into your organization, they're going to change your organization. It's not like we're getting a faster word processor program. These things are different. They attack hierarchies of expertise. So they surface experts in one place who weren't experts before, and they might actually make your current experts not so expert, right? So these are significant challenges, especially for instructional designers who have jobs at creating training and content and have to map to things like certification and accuracy of content. And what's really been surprising and engaging and encouraging for me is people's willingness to engage with this idea that this could possibly radically change the way they do their jobs.
The e-learning Guild.
Mm.
Value.
Yeah, I guess let's just kind of the wrap up.
Yeah, exactly the wrap up.
So, what brings you to the e-learning guild? How long you been coming to the conference?
Sure.
And why do you do that?
I've been doing e-learning guild events for a number of years now, and I've kept doing more and more with them, including now talking for 3 days straight about social media. And one of the things and I go to a lot of conferences. One of the things that really impresses me about the guild, David Holcomb and Heidi Fisk have really kind of built into it, is their willingness to try stuff. Their flat-out willingness to experiment with their conference. So this year we're running an alternate reality game based around zombies. And the reason we're doing it is to teach people about social media for learning, right? There are not many conference organizers who are willing, outside the gaming industry, say, to try to do an alternate reality game like that. And it's been a big hit. We've got tons of people playing. We've got a big debrief tomorrow. They're willing to try things like have the mobile learning jam and the serious game zone and the social learning camp set up outside of their sessions, outside of that environment to let people interact with content in different ways. They just really impress me with their willingness to try new things and to try to find things that actually are profitable and engaging for people to take home with them. So I've been doing the events for years, and I can see in the future to continue doing the events because they're just willing to try new things. And they're not going to do the same old conference every year. And it's not that they're going to try new things just because they're a fad, but they're going to try new things because it's only in this kind of experimental area that we can try these things, that we can find out what's going to work for the next generation of products that we have to evolve, right? So, and the e-learning guild participants that come here, I think are really engaged, especially at DevLearn. I mean, the annual gathering is great. It's a broader audience, but this DevLearn is kind of my crowd. I mean, these people are trainers, learners. They're geeks. They love their tech, but they really want to do something better for the organization and increase the performance of their learners. And that's just an awesome energy to be around. So